Okie dokie. Welcome everybody to this week's KubeVirt community meeting. It is the 27th of May, 2026. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope you're having a good time of it, or at least it's tolerable. Let's be real. Do we have anyone who is new here this week and would like to take a moment to introduce themselves to us?
Yeah, I am new here.
Hello, welcome. Would you like to give us any idea of are you an end user? Are you interested in joining the communities like in code contributions kind of a thing, or just
Yeah, while learning Kubernetes, I got to know about KubeVirt. So yeah, I got interested in this idea to learn and contribute. I joined the community.
awesome? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anyone else here who is new this week? Alrighty. Shrisha, since this is your first meeting here, presumably, well, yeah, we're going to run through this, but at the end of it, if there's any time left over, if you got any questions or anything that you wanted to ask the great people here, then you are more than welcome. So we'll move into the quick look at the schedule check-in. What date did I say it was? The 27th of May. What's that? Okay, okay. So we've had our beta release, I believe, and we are 4 weeks away from the 1.9 code freeze. Things to pay attention to. Still on track for a release date of the 22nd of July. And we'll be talking other dates shortly. We have a couple of upcoming CFPs, and I do think I need to update this. Just one event has passed. Okay, Con Cloud Native Con, North America. This Sunday, the CFP will close. So if you're interested in speaking at that, those days are numbered. There is also Open Source Summit Europe with a CFP date of the 24th of June and KVM Forum, 31st of July. And we have a few things coming up, including, so this is past. I don't know if Felix is here. He is. I might ask him how that went in a minute. We've got DevCon for a whole bunch of talks happening at DevCon. We also have a booth, as well as KubeCon Cloud Native Con Japan. There is a talk from SK Telecom and NTT. SKT and NTT. Yeah, Felix, just to put you on the spot, how was Cloudland?
It was great. Had a few roller coaster rides. So it wasn't an amusement park. So we also got to some actual work, like actual sessions about cloud native stuff, not just roller coaster riding. So there was some interesting people. And yeah, some people that mentioned they would like to show up in a future community meeting. So let's see how that goes.
Awesome. Let's have a little look at our calendar. So unusual meetings, or in that I mean that they are not every single week. Tomorrow we have the SIG control plane fortnightly meeting. And next week we've got both of our storage and network meetings happening on Monday, as well as confidential computing happening on Tuesday. Yeah, all right. So let's get into the agenda. Or you've got the first note.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to bring up something to the community to ask about some gap that we need to allow third-party controllers that handle the networking to act on cross-cluster live migration or decentralized live migration event. For example, OVN Kubernetes, it's a network platform that also supports KubeVirt and live migrations. It's just that on cross-cluster live migration, it doesn't have, there is not enough info to detect that the source network should be treated and when the migration is finished. So what we basically need is to have KubeVirt to add additional annotations to the Virt Launcher pods and to indicate about more information about the migration, like for example, the migration role, is it the source or target pod, and maybe the migration scope. I'm not sure if it's a must, but it's a nice to have, whether it's a decentralized or not. And as of today, KubeVirt set an annotation that called migration target ready timestamp on the migration target pod. So we also need this annotation to be set on the source pod or something similar that would indicate the switchover has been done on the source pod. So I wanted to ask if it's something that sounds legit, if it's something that we can do. This is a mostly question for Virt maintainers.
So I'm not a Virt maintainer, but I did write the decentralized live migration code. From my perspective, adding some annotations doesn't seem problematic, but I'd like to hear thoughts from the actual Virt maintainer.
I missed the compelling reason why this was needed.
So the main reason is to allow third-party controllers act on cross-cluster live migration events, such as when the switchover is done and the source pod is going to is no longer have the guest going. Like, for example, from OVN Kubernetes perspective, it would need to shut down its network to allow the traffic go to the target pod at the target cluster.
Okay, that makes sense. So I would actually throw it back to you, Alex, because you were involved in the creation of the operator itself. How does it know when to do these events?
And when you say Alex, you mean me?
Sorry, yeah, Alexander, my fault.
Because there are actual Alexes in here as well. So, anyways, the operator doesn't know it's the Virt controller when it creates the pods that puts the annotations on there. And based on if the Virt handler tells you when the migration is complete, and it can set some information on the actual VMI, and then from the VMI we can then translate it over to the Virt launcher with the Virt controller.
So basically, the translation is that Virt controller and Virt handler have the minimum they need to do their job, but it's not extensible to other sorts of things that third-party controllers might be interested in.
Basically, yes. And the thing is, these other controllers don't really want to know about KubeVirt specific things. So that's why they want annotations instead of, because if they would be able to read the VMI, the VMI actually has all the information. So, my first inclination was, why can't you read the VMI? Because the VMI has the information. But the thing is, the networking component could care less about KubeVirt. They're just acting on pods. So that's why we need an annotation.
Yeah, I'm really not fond of annotations, but that is a strong case for them.
I'm not fond of annotations either. I prefer if we could read it out of the CRD, but in this case, that's not really an option. So
Okay, so sounds like it's feasible. So thanks for the feedback. And is it something that can be done that we can that you do you think it can happen before the incoming code freeze? Does it,
Nope.
does a web is a must here?
Yes,
Or
OVAP was absolutely going to be needed for this. So you're probably 2 releases out.
what could you please repeat last sentence, please?
Yeah. The VEP freeze for 1.9 was
Yeah.
considerable number of weeks ago. So we're looking at what is the next, Andrew? Is it 110 or are we 110? All right. Yeah, 110 is probably the soonest you could realistically target.
And do you think such change, like projecting more information on the pod, could go without a web, like as an exception?
This is by definition an API change. So I would be pretty firm in saying no.
Okay. Yeah, I understand when you're saying it's an API change. It's we don't really change behavioral or something like that. It's additional annotation, but yeah, but I get what you say, what you're saying. So, it's- so if we ever go this direction, it can happen on 1.10, depending on the web approval. Is that correct?
That's my. And look, I'm just one voice in a room, just the one bold enough to speak up here. But I would. It'd be nice to hear from others, but that's pretty clear in my mind that that's how that would go.
Okay. Is there anyone here that want to speak out and say what he thinks, or I'm basically looking for additional opinions?
Fans put something into chat.
Second. No, it's not. It's not related to CNI annotations at all. It's an annotation to allow third-party controller, for example, Oven Kubernetes, to act on specific events. It doesn't touch CNI-related annotations or something like that. Based on this annotation, Oven Kubernetes will do what's necessary on its side to configure the network, including its CNI, but not directly.
Oh, but you're relying on annotations that already exist, right? You just want them on different pods, if I'm not mistaken.
One of them, yes, I need it on also on the source pod. It could help, but I'm afraid I will need additional information in form of additional annotations.
Just trying to verify that it is in fact an API change.
Look, if I manage to do it with the existing annotations, just that in a way that we label also story, that we add this annotation also to the source code. Maybe it can work. I need to check. But would that be also called out as an API change? So existing annotation on additional pod.
Either way, even if there's no API change, it sounds like this is a complex feature that which design we should discuss in the web, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth, when I tried to test this to see if it's even possible in the code, it comes down to having the migration controller set the annotations based on the VMIM, virtual machine instance migration CR phase transitions. So code-wise, there is no much of a logic there. So just saying.
Thank you. Alex, you've got the next thing about CVE backports.
Hey, yeah. Right, so we have some of you may have seen these PRs that try to pin the gRPC package to some OpenShift fork that's supposedly fixing CV. It's common for older branches where you have like an older Go version, so you can't really just go to the newest gRPC. You have to get creative with a fork. So I've had one of those submitted, many of those submitted to CDI, and I thought I should bring it up here so we kind of align on the org strategy regarding those usage of those forks. Of course, I'm really worried about taking it in. Luckily, we're not even exposed to the CV, so we can just reject it. But I think this will come up in the future in one form or another. So we should kind of get a policy, or at least agree on a general direction regarding the usage of such forks.
Yep.
So,
Just a note on CVEs, like proving that we're not affected by it is one correct way to address a CVE. If we can actually, like, yeah, prove that we're not affected, we don't need to do anything.
yeah, and that's what I'm going to do about this. I'm just not sure, like, what do we do when this comes up in the future? I believe I've already seen a few instances of this for several CVs, so just a matter of time until we have to take something like this in which case I'm not sure we would want to take in an OpenShift fork dependency. So I guess I'm just trying to suggest that we don't want to build our project on top of this OpenShift fork. We should probably roll our own if we must. Does that sound like a logical thing to do?
So I want to point out in this particular case, the OpenShift version is basically the actual gRPC code, but being able to compile it with an older Golang version. And sort of that's the whole point, is that our older branches need an older Golang version, and the latest gRPC requires a newer Golang version. That presents a problem, and that's what this whole fork is about.
Yeah, I guess mostly worried about, like the fork going offline or something like that.
I don't think you can. It's like you cannot. You want to replace. I don't understand. You want to replace the. You want to replace the Golang thing with the OpenShift one, sustaining one,
Yeah,
the gRPC.
that's what these PRs are suggesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not possible. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like not possible on upstream here in you. The only thing could be that we'll go and fork the vendor that wants to fix it on. Also, he will need to fork it and then do that there, which is what other projects are doing, like for example with Kubernetes.
Sorry, could you repeat what are they doing there?
So for example with Kubernetes, the distribution of Kubernetes will do this. Like they will take Kubernetes and they will uh, fork it, and then they will develop their own and they will customize it per what they need, and they will fix things like this there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Kubernetes will not accept, we will not want to handle such old, and they will not take uh, um, like branding from some other someone that took fix something. The other option, by the way, is to fork this gRPC thing into KubeVirt org. That's also possible, but I
There's
don't think we want to
also
do.
there's a third option too with CVEs. You can sometimes work around them, like in your code base, like avoid a certain path gRPC through your own server setup in KubeVirt, for example.
Yeah, but that depends if I think that depends if that CV was detected through tools that actually check how it is used, and they are not checking just that it exists there. Like if they found out that there is a vulnerability in a specific gRPC Go version, they don't they cannot depend if the code is using that path or not. I don't know how this is checked. I'm guessing they are not checking if it is they don't care how you use it. They just care that it is there.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure about that. You can only guess.
Okay, so I think that for now we should try to, if we can, just avoid these usage of this fork. I don't know that we have to make it official, but and we're not exposed to the CV, so it makes it a lot easier. But guess this will be like a future reference for the next CV.
Yeah,
That it,
when we are affected and upstream won't fix the CVE in this stream, someone has to fork and fix the CVE. And if OpenShift does that and does only that in their fork, I don't see why we couldn't use it in those specific cases.
What do you mean? Use it where?
Well, like we had to do a few times already in KubeVirt. Like I said, when upstream doesn't do a new zstream with the CVE fix, and we don't want to bump to the latest major version, um, someone has to fork and fix the CVE. And if OpenShift already did that, we can just use their work and not have to do anything. I think that in that case, it kind of makes sense.
Okay, I find it very odd, but I guess is debatable.
Like, I don't see why every single project should have their own fork just to fix the same CVE in the same Z-stream. If someone already did it and
No.
it's a somewhat reliable entity like OpenShift, I think it's fine to consume.
So for that, I think for that there was another discussion in parallel, that the discussion said, I think there is even a web that got merged, I'm not sure, that says that we will not, so we don't want to support more than 3 or 2 releases, which is formally this is what we are saying, but on the other hand, we do try to fix CVs in practice. But it says that we will not touch the old branches, and that's up to any downstream that takes KubeVirt and uses it. It's up to them to backport fixes or CVs or whatever it does. So there is like a parallel discussion there
Yes,
in
yeah,
that
that's a
direction.
different topic, and it's not merged yet. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
future, we don't want to fix old versions.
that won't be implemented until I think version 1.11. So we've still got a couple of versions where this might come up. Alrighty. Let's press on. I got a bunch of stuff. I just want to like word salad at people. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Oh, by the way, thanks, Alex, for bringing that up. And it might also be a good topic for the unconference that'll be coming up in potentially June 30th. Have I frozen? No. Sorry. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. does anyone have any known clashes or like public holidays predominantly or major delivery dates for October 14th or 15th or October 20th or 21st later this year? So those are proposed KubeVirt Summit dates. I'm working with the CNCF to nail that down. Federico shared with me that we might be having an estimated feature freeze date will be, I think, the week after this, so at the very end of October. So I'd probably lean more towards 14th, 15th to create a bit of distance between that. Have a think about it. I'll ask again before we finish up in 2 minutes. I have the same question for June 30th. I had a quick look at public holidays. It looks as though there are some holidays either side of this in some locales, but June 30th seems relatively free. So that's a Tuesday. It's our traditional unconference day. Yeah, if you can think of anything, please let me know. I have some PRs I would like people to look at. So these are it's a infrastructure for the docs. Basically, one of the plugins we use for all of the navigational tools. It got stopped and kind of like transformed into a different project about 2 years ago. So there's a user guide PR there, and we need to update the project infra Docker files, both for the website, which is using an old version of Fedora, and also the Docker file for the user guide. So they need to be kind of merged in harmony. If someone could please take a look at them. And also there's a little PR here. It's just adding a bunch of links within KubeVirt. I think the README and the contributor files, just linking to our AI contributor doc. I think Eddie might have already taken a quick look. It's still waiting for LGTMs and approvals. If you please take a look at that, that would be great. Thank you very much. These are just kind of nice to know as FYIs. So we did engage the CNCF for a docs project. I think I've talked about this before. So the person working on this is Bruce Hamilton. Now they'll most likely, if they have any questions, direct them to me. I'll fan out to people responsible. But just in case you happen to see Bruce Hamilton asking questions in Slack on the mailing list, that's what's going on. They're doing an analysis of our docs and kind of providing feedback and possible improvements for that. And please let me know if you'd like to be involved as a touch point. Similarly, our Foster account will be migrated to the CNCF account. There'll be some minor downtime of service during that migration. So you've had the 2 minutes to think about October 14th, 15th, and June 30th. Does anyone know of any clashes with those dates? We've gone over time, so if you do, too bad. No, ping me on Slack is the more mature response. So we're eating into SIG Compute, so I'll just say thank you very much, everyone, for being here and for everything you do. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever you're doing. And we'll see you here next week, hopefully. Cool. Thanks, everyone.